I'd be very happy to give way.
Before giving way, just before he moves on to that next section of his speech, he set out some of the issues, the sort of structural and institutional issues and lessons to be learned. But does he agree with me that when you're in a situation where 8,000 members transfer out, you've clearly got a problem that needs to be addressed at source? And the sort of flagging up risks is all very well, but you're shutting the door after the horse has bolted. We need a system in place which prevents this mass migration out, because once you get those kind of numbers, it becomes highly likely that people will be going against the actuarial advice, which is in their best interest.
Well, I listened very carefully to what the Honourable Gentleman said just then and in his previous intervention. And he's right to say that 6.6% of the 122,000 individuals who had those pensions did transfer out. He's right to say that in general, the default option would not be to transfer out of a DB scheme. And there is some work going on to develop pathways. I am not clear, given it's not my direct area of responsibility, what the status of that is. I think there is a challenge, though, with respect to, in the context of the policy that was, is now well underway with respect to freedoms, how you reconcile that freedom with making those decisions. And I think that what is happening is that many people, and this, if I pivot over to the DC schemes, would decide to take the 25% tax-free lump sum and then not necessarily make appropriate or best decisions on the remainder of that pot of money. So there is work being done on that, but with respect to the specificity of the default option, I can't give him a definitive response now. But I think we are moving to a point where there will be default pathways that people will need to be advised on at the point that they take that advice. And I think that that is probably a sensible compromise that deals with the fact that in some instances, the Honourable Gentleman will agree, that it wouldn't always be the right thing to do to not come out of the DB scheme, although it generally would, that he's perfectly correct. So I think there's work to be done on this, but I think progress is being made, and I acknowledge the very sensible point that he's raised.